The Day I Stopped Chasing Ghosts, a story about letting go without losing yourself. There was a moment, small, quiet, almost invisible, when I realized I had been living my life for someone who wasn't really there anymore. No argument, no dramatic goodbye, just silence, stretched thin across days, then weeks. I remember staring at my phone one night, the screen glowing in a dark room, wondering why losing someone who was still alive hurt more than grief. And that's when the real question hit me. How do you let go of someone without letting go of yourself? What if the pain you're feeling isn't because you care too much, but because you're holding on to something that already moved on? And what if learning to detach isn't about becoming heartless, but finally becoming free? My name is Ethan Miller. I was 34, living in Portland, Oregon, working as a freelance sound designer, someone who listened carefully for a living, but rarely listened to himself. The person I couldn't let go of was Noah. We met years earlier at a small recording studio. Noah was the kind of person who filled a room without trying. Charismatic, restless, always chasing the next idea, the next city, the next version of himself. We weren't romantic, we weren't family, but somehow he became the emotional center of my world. Late-night conversations, shared dreams, promises spoken casually, but believed deeply by me. And slowly, without noticing, I began arranging my life around his presence. My mood depended on his replies. My confidence depended on his approval. My sense of belonging depended on whether he stayed. At the time, I called it loyalty. Now, I know it was fear. People don't always leave loudly. Sometimes they leave in delays, shorter replies, canceled plans, a growing emotional distance you pretend not to see. Noah started traveling more, new friends, new ambitions, and I stayed exactly where I was, waiting. I replayed conversations in my head like unfinished songs, searching for the moment where everything changed. Was it something I said? Something I didn't say? Was I replaceable all along? The more he pulled away, the harder I tried. Long messages, over-explaining, being understanding while quietly breaking inside. That's the cruel irony of attachment. The tighter you cling, the smaller you feel. The breaking point came on an ordinary Tuesday. I sent a message, nothing dramatic, just honest. Hours passed, then a full day, then 2. I didn't sleep that night. My chest felt heavy, like grief without permission. By the 3rd day, I realized something terrifying. I wasn't missing Noah. I was missing who I was when I felt chosen. That realization shattered me, because it meant the pain wasn't about losing him. It was about losing myself. That weekend, I drove alone to the Oregon coast. No distractions, no music. Just the sound of waves hitting something that never resists them. I sat on the cold sand and asked myself a question I had been avoiding for years. Why does someone else's presence decide whether I feel whole? I realized I had been outsourcing my emotional stability. I had handed someone else the authority to decide my worth, and they never agreed to that role. That's when the shift began, not suddenly, not easily, but honestly. I didn't block Noah. I didn't pretend I didn't care. Instead, I did something harder. I stopped chasing explanations. I stopped rehearsing imaginary conversations, stopped checking my phone every 10 minutes, stopped feeding stories that only existed in my head. When thoughts came, I questioned them. Is this fact or fear? Is this memory or imagination? Slowly, the emotional storms lost their power, not because I felt nothing, but because I stopped letting feelings control the narrative. Weeks later, Noah finally reached out. A casual message. Friendly, light. The old version of me would have rushed back, heart racing, ready to rebuild the past. But this time, I noticed something. I was calm, not numb, not bitter, just steady. I replied kindly, honestly, but without urgency. And for the first time, I understood. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop abandoning yourself. Life didn't suddenly become perfect. Some nights were still quiet, some memories still stung, but I started filling my days with things that belonged to me. New projects, new routines, new friendships that didn't require me to shrink. I realized that every person who leaves creates space. And space, when you stop fearing it, is where growth happens. Years from now, this chapter will be a paragraph. And one day, maybe just a sentence. Here's the truth most people never tell you. You don't detach by force. You detach by understanding. You understand that people change, feelings shift, and nothing external can be permanent shelter. The moment you stop trying to hold what's already slipping is the moment you finally feel free. Letting go isn't losing. Sometimes it's coming home to yourself. If this story resonated with you, if you've ever held on longer than you should have, leave a comment with just one word: free. Someone else reading it might need that reminder today. Like this video if you believe emotional strength is learned, not given. Subscribe if you want more deep cinematic stories about healing, resilience, and inner freedom. Remember this: you were whole before they arrived. You are whole after they leave. And the strongest thing you can ever do is choose yourself without guilt. I'll see you in the next story.